Welcome to Chapter 4, Section 2, entitled Graph Quadratic Functions in Vertex or Intercept Form. So, vertex form is very similar to the absolute value form, where you have y equals a plus k. And just like vertex or absolute values, the vertex is at h k. Now you can't use the a like the slope, but you still get the vertex, and all you need is the second point. Intercept form actually gives you the second point, gives you 2 points. It's y equals a x minus p. That's one x-intercept. And x minus q. That's the other x-intercept. And please remember, whenever we see these things in parentheses, we always think equal to 0. All right, what makes the inside of the parentheses equal to 0? Also, please remember, if a is positive, it opens up, or is a U-shaped parabola. Or if a is negative, it opens down and is an upside down U. So, first of all, the parent function is always y equals x squared. And now what we have is the graph of y equals this is a parabola, y equals ax squared, translated right, I think it's right, h units, and up k units. I guess I should say right or left. So I'm going to make this easier for us. I'm going to erase the words. And I'm going to say right or left and up or down k units. I think they use, in the book, uses a horizontal movement and vertical movement. The vertex is at hk. The axis of symmetry is at x equals h. And the graph opens up if a is greater than 0 and down if a is less than 0. So all you have to do for this, you find the vertex. I'm going to say find/plot vertex. I'm going to say calculate second point. Mirror point. And draw a line. Or we'll say draw a curve. So looking at this, first identify the constant a is 1/2. H, what makes this equal to 0, would be -1. And k is -2. So because a is greater than 0, the parabola opens up. The vertex is at -1, -2. Draw the axis of symmetry at x equals -1. So -1, -2 is right here. And now we need a second point. So let's take a look at, let's plug in the number 1. So 1/2 of 1 plus 1 squared minus 2. That's 1/2 of 2 squared minus 2. That's 1/2 of 4 is 2, that's 0. 1, 0 is one of my solutions. Well, we found and plotted the vertex. We calculated a second point. We did a mirror of the point. And draw our beautiful shaped U, or parabola. So, guided practice number 1. X plus 2 squared minus 3. All right. So what was the first step? Step 1, plot the vertex. Well, what makes this equal to 0? -2, -3. Okay. -2, -3. All right. So -2, -3. We need to find a second point. So let's say 0. 0 plus 2 squared minus 3. So 0 plus 2 is 2 squared minus 3. That's 4 minus 3. That's 1. So 0, 1. There's our second point. It's mirrored over the axis of symmetry. And now we have a nice, pretty curve that is a parabola. Guided practice number 3. So now you have y equals 1/2 x minus 3 squared minus 4. All right, well, so 1/2, well, let's see here. So the vertex is at, well, what makes that equal to 0? 3, -4. Let's plot it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So -4 is down here somewhere. Let's pick maybe 0. Let's choose 1. Let's try 1 out and see what we get. So I have half of 1 minus 3 squared minus 4. So half of -2 squared. That's 4. -2 squared is 4. Half of 4 is 2. -2. So it's 1, -2. Well, here's the axis of symmetry. You get another point right here. And unfortunately, my graph is not very good, or my coordinate plane is not a good choice, but my graph is decent enough. So that's vertex form. Intercept form, you're dealing with the fact that now both of these pieces, the x-intercepts are P and Q. What makes that equal to 0? What makes that equal to 0? The axis of symmetry is halfway between P0 and Q0. So what you do is you add P and Q together, and you divide by 2. Now what that does, that tells us that the vertex is at you find the x value and you do it with the y. So step 1 would be to find / plot intercepts. Step 2 is find the x-chord of the vertex using P plus Q over 2. Then we're going to use number 2 to find the y value. Then you're going to plot the vertex and draw a curve. All right, so looking here, we know P. What makes this equal to 0? Should be 1, 5. So my intercepts are at, my x-intercepts, and I better put that up there, x-intercepts are at 1, 5. Now, we know it opens down, and P plus Q. So 5 plus 1 is equal to 6 over 2, which equals 3. So you plug 3 into your original equation. And this is where storing values in for x can become handy. You don't have to deal with all of this order of operations. So that's 2, that's negative 2, should be 8. And then you can draw, oops, you can draw your parabola through those points. And that's it. So let's take a look at guided practice number 5. Okay, it opens up. The first step, plot the x-intercepts, 3, 0, 7, 0. All right, those are the intercepts, and there's their plot. Number 2 is find the vertex. So the vertex is at p plus q over 2. Well, that's 3 plus 7 over 2. That's 10 over 7, or 10 over 2, which is 5. Well, now you plug 5 into the equation. 5 there, 5 there. 5 minus 3 is 2. 5 minus 7 is negative 2. Multiplying those together, you get negative 4. So my next point is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, directly between those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 down. And then you connect the dots with a nice parabola, and you're done. All right, guided practice number 7. Negative x plus 1 . Well, what makes that equal to 0? Negative 1, 0 is an x-intercept. 5, 0 is an intercept. Now let's find the vertex. So it's negative 1 plus 5 over 2. That's 4 over 2. That's 2. So that means my vertex is at 2 comma some number. Well, let's plug in 2 in for x. 2 plus 1 is 3. 2 minus 5 is negative 3. That's 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. But don't forget the outside negative, so it should be 9. All right. So we're going to go ahead and steal one of these coordinate planes. Oh, we'll use this one. All right, so my intercepts are at negative 1. Or negative 1 are at negative, or at 5, I mean. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right about here. It opens down, so our vertex will be up here somewhere. It should be at 2, about right here. And then you draw your nice upside down U to get your parabola. All right, let's graph the function, label the vertex and axis of symmetry. All right, well, the vertex, this is h, or I'm sorry, x minus h squared plus k. So what makes the inside of that opposite, or 0? I should say 3, 4 is your vertex. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. You need a second point. So let's go ahead and choose something to the left. Let's see how 0 works. Put a 0 in. 0 minus 3 squared plus 4. That's negative 9 plus 4. That ends up being negative 5. Ooh. Well, that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, way down here. Mirror image of it would be right here. And you go ahead and draw your perfectly done parabolas. That's all you need. You need to find the vertex, second point, and then you can do the mirror image. Graph the function. This is an intercept form. Well, we know one intercept is at 4. 1, 2, 4. The other intercept's at negative 2. Because what makes this equal to 0? What makes this equal to 0? And we know our midpoint is when you add them together and divide by 2. P is 4 plus negative 2 all over 2. Well, 4 plus negative 2 is 2 over 2, which is 1. So somewhere right here is 1 and is the vertex. You should see that it should open up, so it should be down here somewhere. All right, let's plug in our numbers. 1 minus 4 times 1 plus 2. So it's negative 3, and it's times negative 1. No, times 3. Couldn't read that very well. That becomes negative 9. So my vertex, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, right here. There's your parabola. All right, that's the other two ways of graphing. So you should be able to graph using making a table, graph it in standard form, graph it in intercept form, graph it in vertex form. And now we need to talk about how to make intercept form or vertex form into standard form. So to multiply two expressions that each contain two terms, add the product of the first terms the outer terms, the inner terms, and the last terms. So basically what you do, first, outer, inner, last. The first terms in each thing, the outermost terms, the innermost terms, and the outer and the last terms. So x times x is x squared, x times 7 is 7x, 4 times x is 4x, 4 times 7 is 28. And then when you combine like terms, that becomes 11x. So, looking here, you take the first term, x times x. You take the last term, or the outermost terms, and now we do the inside terms, 2x, and the, I guess we'll go under, and the last terms, which is negative 10. So we combine like terms, and then at the last we use the distributive property. You put a 3 through, you get 3x squared minus 9x minus 30. Now it's in standard form. All right. So right here, this is special. Let me add an extra term here. If you're looking at vertex form, what you're looking at is the fact that you've got a times x minus h times x minus h plus k. So you multiply both of these together like you would FOIL, and then you've got some extra work to do at the end. All right, so this is just like this example over here. X plus 2 squared means x plus 2 and x plus 2. So now when you FOIL, it's x. When you FOIL, it's x times x, which is x squared. It's x times 2, which is plus 2x. And now we did the f, the first, the outside. Now the inside numbers. And then the outside numbers. All right, that's FOIL. When you combine the like terms, you get that. Then you distribute property. The negative 5 goes through, so negative 5 times x squared is negative 5x squared. Then negative 5 times 4x is negative 20x. And then negative 5 times 4 is minus 20. Well, minus 20 plus 8 gives us negative 5x squared minus 20x, it's a minus sign, minus 20x, and then negative 20 plus 8 is minus 12. So that's how you go from vertex form to standard form. So let's take a look at guided practice 9 and 12. For FOIL, number 9 looks like negative x minus 2 x minus 7. And the guided practice tells us that we should write it in standard form. So you first do FOIL. The first, x times x. The outside numbers, the numbers furthest to the outside, minus 7x. The inside numbers. And the last numbers in each parenthesis. Now, do not forget the negative sign on the outside. So combine like terms. And now distribute the negative. The negative works on everything inside the parentheses. It becomes negative x squared plus 9x minus 14. That's number 9. Number 12 is in intercept form. Negative 7, x minus 6, x plus 1. So we forget about the negative 7 at first. We do the first, x times x. We do the outside, x times 1. We do the inside, minus 6x. And we do the last. Combine some like terms. You get x squared minus 5x minus 6. But please, please, please do not forget that beginning. So negative 7 gets distributed into everything in front there. Negative 7x squared plus 35x plus 42. That's now written in standard form. Guided practice 15. This should be the last one of the guided practices. It's a vertex form. This is number 15 again. So number 15, we rewrite as x plus 2 times x plus 2. Now we FOIL. First, the outside numbers, the inside numbers, and the last numbers. We combine like terms and get x squared plus 4x plus 4. But we cannot forget the minus sign out front and the plus 4 on the back side. So the negative changes the sign of everything inside the parenthesis. And now negative 4 plus 4 becomes 0. You get negative x squared minus 4x. So that's foiling. There's a bunch of examples of foiling. Please finish. Please make sure you finish the guided practices. All right. Let's do a couple more. These are the checkpoints on your note-taking guides. Please remember x minus 3 squared is 4 times x minus 3 times x minus 3 minus 10. Go ahead and try to do these on your own and then see if what you did is correct. So pause the video and see how it works. I'm going to continue though and say that you have 4, the first in each row, the outside of each row, the inside, and the last. Well, when we combine like terms, you get 4x squared minus 6x plus 9 minus 10. So we put those two pieces together. And now we distribute. 4 multiplies with everything inside the parentheses. And then there you go. All right. Here's a look at what you do with the intercept form again. So it's FOIL. The first part gets multiplied. The last part gets multiplied. The inside part gets multiplied. And the last part gets multiplied. Then we combine like terms. And we never forget about the number out front. Because now that number gets multiplied by everything inside the parentheses. And we're done. So I did quite a few of the guided practices. Please finish the GPs. And these are the problems we will work on in class. Good luck.